Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good. So a lot happened today. I've been saying that every day, like dang. There hasn't been a slow news day for a while. It's kind of crazy. Tonight's question, very important. Tonight's question. Who got denied a request to block state regulators from overseeing prediction markets? Coinbase, Polymarket, MetaMask, or other. You know what to do if it's other. I'll say it again. Who got denied a request to block state regulators from overseeing prediction markets? Coinbase, Polymarket, MetaMask, or other. And if it's other, like I said, put it in the comments. Hutanic, thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself. So we've got a lot. For my United States people out there that have to file United States taxes. New tax brackets were announced. So talk to your accountant, talk to your CPAs, and find out where you're going to fall and prepare. Get ready. Just saying, get ready for it. It's coming. It's coming hard. It's coming fast. It ought to be fun. Just saying. But yeah, the IRS announced a couple of new federal income tax brackets and standard deductions for 2026. Go look that up. You could fall in a good place. You could definitely fall in a good place. Something else I want to bring to your attention. JP Morgan Chase is warning of a surge in Zelle scams involving fake ads, tech support fraud, and charity scams, with victims having no recourse for fund recovery. They're not how can I say this and how can I say it nicely? They're not doing this simply because they care. They're doing this because they don't want people asking them for their money back. That's why. So if you can, pay attention. Get this right. Get this right all the way, because it's a problem. So when I listen to this, that's the only thing that came to mind. The only thing that came to mind is the fact that, that's what they're doing. Okay, got it. I've got to recenter my camera. My camera's not centered properly. Oh, no, it is. It is. I don't know why, but they changed. Actually, I do know why. They changed the layout that I look at when I'm trying to make sure that everything's running well. And that's why I was thinking my screen is off center, but it's actually pretty well centered. It's all right. Let's get back to the news. Rick Ritchie in his house. Thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself. So Ripple partnered with Bahrain FinTech Bay to expand its Middle East footprint. What they're looking to do is open up that, $58 billion annual remittance market. And the deal that they cut is going to see an increase of traffic and utilization for both of their coins, or both of their major coins, right? RLUSD and XRP. That is big. So yeah, I'm expecting some noise. This is some really good stuff. Because people have been sitting back wondering, like, what's up with XRP? When is it going to do something? With XRP, you have to pay attention to the institutional deals that it's doing. Because they're specifically targeting institutional action. And this is a deal that's going to matter. Just saying, just putting it out there for you. This is a deal that's going to matter. Okay? What else do we have going on? Ethereum launches Kohaku and a privacy cluster to prioritize privacy. That was the whole point of this. They wanted to launch a team that was specific for privacy. That to me is very, very interesting. Aiming to redefine user control, security, and regulatory alignment in blockchain. A lot of these projects out here are really tuning into the idea of user sovereignty. One of the reasons why they're tuning into user sovereignty is because they're starting to realize that it's slowly disappearing. slowly disappearing. So, something to pay attention to. I think it's both, by the way. Zcash has other things going on. Zcash isn't doing it for me. Could I have made money off of Zcash the past few days? Yeah, but I don't really pay attention to Zcash. Coinbase. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. Coinbase expands its decentralized exchange access to the United States. Coinbase and DeFi. You can say them in the same sentence and it'll be okay. Nuts, right? Centralized exchanges are turning toward DeFi. They're turning toward DeFi because they understand that their future relies on giving access to DeFi via their exchanges, via their platforms. So you know how I talk about different banking platforms, different stock trading platforms, and how not even stock trading platforms, just different banks trying to get involved in the crypto space. And I said that, and I've been saying this for years, that it's going to be easier for crypto exchanges to become banks than it will be for banks to become crypto exchanges. Every single bank out there is figuring that out. They're learning that lesson right now. They are literally going through that right now. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it because traditional finance has been asleep at the helm. This was your sector to lose, not somebody else's sector to win. And every step of the way, they have literally given away finance. I mean, it's harder to actually put your finger on what you can't do in DeFi that you can do in traditional finance. I mean, some of the more intricate, risky, type things, yeah, you're probably not going to see that over there. Not yet. You will. Not yet. And, I was having a conversation with one of my friends today, with my cousin, and I asked her, I said, what do banks bring to the table? And then I said, let's take it a step beyond that. What do investment banks bring to the table? You have banks, you have investment banks. What do investment banks bring to the table? What do they do for you? And she sat there for a minute and she was like, ooh, that's a big question. And I said, isn't it? I said, because the market has changed. The market has changed dramatically. These youngins down here don't want to hear from your financial advisor because they're more educated in investing. The younger generation is no joke when it comes to investing. All of the money might be up here because, we're closer to retirement and all that other good stuff. But the truth is, this younger generation is no joke when it comes to doing research on how to invest their money. Whether it be to, make sure they have enough money to go buy a house or to go on a ski trip in Banff. You know what I mean? They want to ski down the Swiss Alps and then want to get dropped off by a helicopter. Yeah. They're not as uneducated as we were when we first got started. Nobody was telling us anything. These younger folks these days have everything at their fingertips. So if you're a bank or an investment bank, you've got to figure out, how do I speak with them? Not talk to them, speak with them. They're far more savvy than previous generations. What are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table? And a great example is Coinbase opening up decentralized services on their centralized platform. It's familiar. Even to those that are new, that are younger, and still have Coinbase accounts and think that's cool. But the ones that are savvy, they're going to be like, oh, that's cute. Seriously. They're going to sit there and go, oh, that's cute. Because that service isn't meant for them. They know that these people are going to go direct. Remember when I told you that centralized exchanges are going to start to look more and more like banks? I had a few people reach out to me and be like, you're crazy. You're nuts. You're insane. And then somebody got a banking license. Well, that's just a one. And then somebody got a banking license. Then more started filing for banking licenses. Because I want you to stop and think about this. That's all they had to do was ask for it. Ask for it. And depending on what they want to do as a bank, which they can well define, banks can't. Banks can't well define that. And I think that investment banks might have seemingly a harder question to answer, like what do you bring to the table? But in their back pocket, they've got an answer. Oh, we can tell you about things that you don't know about. Right? We happen to know, because they're our client, that they're pretty close to an IPO. We can get you in on pre-IPO investment in X company. Regular banks can't do that. So if you're just a regular bank, what do you bring to the table? What are you doing? What do you offer me? You can't offer me toasters anymore. And besides, who would want your toaster now? They're cheap enough. I can go get my own. That's not going to whet my appetite. So what do you bring to the table? Like I said, investment banks have things so an investment bank isn't necessarily going to be able to offer what they used to offer. Right? Some of the services that they used to offer are going to be pushed down to like platforms. They're direct to consumer platforms. Right? But they have something where they've got a slew of people that can look over your whole portfolio and say, hey, not just stocks, bonds, options, blah, blah, blah. They can talk to you about that. Granted, they're going to have to go out and learn about crypto, which they should all be buying my book, right? Anyway, both of them. Anyway, I'm saving cash because it'd be cheaper than firewood. Go stand your ass in the corner. Go put your tail in the corner. But all jokes aside, what does a bank bring to the table for you? That's why when I look at this move by Coinbase, I'm thinking, wow, that's a significant move. That's a very significant move to be able to offer that here in the United States. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. A lot of these banks have been sleeping, and a lot of these crypto firms are hungry. They're hungry and they're moving fast. And they've got plans, they've got ideas, and they are enacting them. And if they don't work, they're ditching them real fast. They're not wasting time. They're walking by a restaurant, see you sitting down, having a nice plate. They're walking in, snatching a plate, eating it all, throwing it back on the table, and walking back out, leaving you with an empty plate and the bill. I know I'm cracking jokes, but that's what this move says. Yeah, we filed to be a bank. We're bringing decentralized services here to the United States. You've got to be sitting there and thinking to yourself, if you're a bank, you're an investment bank, you're whatever kind of traditional financial institution, you've got to be asking yourself, what about that? What about that? So the 401k thing, thank you for bringing that up, but the 401k thing is more of what 401ks are now allowed to do. They're now allowed to go invest in crypto directly. That's what they're allowed to do. That's what that means. So that's more of an indirect thing. They could just as easily just go say, oh, we'll invest in IBIT. We'll invest in somebody's ETFs. Cool beans, done. They weren't unable to do that directly before. They had to go through an intermediary. So that changes how that works, right? I no longer have to go through an intermediary. I can go direct. Boom. And then you've got to wonder, well, damn, if they can go direct, well, now what? What does that mean? How does that work? How does it disrupt everything? Everybody gets big news and they latch on to that news, but they're not necessarily latching on to, well, but what does that mean? How does that get implemented? How does that get done? Oh, okay. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. That first point of, oh, 401ks can actually invest now. Sure, next level down in research, right? Going a little deeper is, well, how does that happen? How does that work? What are the logistics? How is that going to disrupt things? As a person who's got a 401k, oh, where's my money going? What are you doing? How risky is that? That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yo, Dark Horse, thank you for letting me know you invest in yourself today. If you're saving cash, are you losing to inflation? Abso-freaking-lutely. Look at how much a dollar is worth now and compare that to what you were able to get for $1 a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Yeah. The value of $1 has dropped. What can you get from a store for $1 right now? When I was a kid, oh my Lord. When I was a kid, I could go to the store and I could get a bag of candy for $1. $1? Are you freaking kidding me? I can go get a bag of candy for $1 and the real size candy, not these dwarf candies that we get now. And I mean dwarf. You look at a Baby Ruth from back in the day and you look at a Baby Ruth now and you're kind of like, really? Really? I don't know about that. Yeah. That's how that's going on right now. So you got to ask yourself, well, dang. That's how much $1 was worth back then. I saved my dollars from back then. Right? And today, that $1 is worth this amount less, rather. And even with the interest, what am I getting for that $1? Yeah. Saving is giving your money to somebody else to make money off your money. Investing is you making money off your money. So somebody invests, somebody saves, you're going to get the same interest rates, declining no less, as time goes on. Investing over time, even if you just DCA, you're making money. Your money makes money for you. So I make money, right? I make money. Then all of that makes more money. Then all of that makes more money. Then all of that makes more money. It's called compound interest. But from investing, not from saving, not from me giving my money to somebody else so that they can use my money to do that. No, this is me using my money to do that. That's the lesson. I feel like I've missed stuff. They are so nice. They are so nice that they will inflate our assets for hidden taxes along the way. Ding. And nice enough to hit us for capital gains because of their inflation. Bam. All of that. All of that. Yep. Saving in 2025 is not the same as saving in 1980. How can I say this? Yes, it is. It's just that your dollar is worth less now. Still the same. It's just that your dollar is worth less. I mean, there's a space in between those two words for now. Worth, space, less. Not worthless. Worth, space, less. That's the difference between 2025 and 1980. In 1980, that's what I mean. In 1980, if you saved your money, you were getting some pretty decent, interest rates, right? And your dollar was worth more, right? Uh-huh. Except over the years, your interest rates declined. We're at a point right now where you're paying the bank for the right to have an account. Or not the right, the ability to have an account. Think about that. Let that wash in. In 1980, we weren't paying banks. Banks were paying us. Oh, please come bank with us. Please, please, please. Pretty please. Pretty, pretty, pretty please. Yeah, that's what they were doing. Nowadays, it's more like, what do you want? To put your money where? All right, you're gonna have to leave $2,500 in there for the month if you want free checking. And there are other fees, like if you want to use the ATM, we're gonna charge you for that. You want access to your money, we're gonna charge you for accessing your money. Because you're disturbing us from making money off your money. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for our inconvenience. I bet you nobody's looked at it like that. Dead serious, though. That's what it is. Yes, they did. And then they declined over time, did they not? All the returns declined over time. So if you do the math now, maybe your dollar, you might be breaking even on your dollar. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. That's what that sounds like to me. But had you invested over time, your average would have been, 20% year over year? Right? About that? Steady interest. So one's declining and the other one's rising. That's what I'm talking about. So what you're saying is for that first 11 years from 1980, you made some money, but you were still declining. The deals that were out there were declining from that point forward. Because banks were playing the long game. You're going to come to us. You're going to come to us. You're going to come to us. And then when the ATM came, oh, you want that? Oh, that's going to be painful. Why is my son texting me when I'm on a show? That's why. Yes, you are. Sorry about that. My kids and my mom will absolutely get me to stop in the middle of whatever the hell I'm doing. Because they mean more to me than everything. Family is everything. But, so when you look at that, let's see, government causes inflation by overspending, overprinting. Now the dollars loses value, or the dollar loses value, but taxes are going up. The government wins both ways. Another one that's not wrong. They're catching us every which way. You want to know the biggest way that they catch us? The biggest way that they catch us is you buy a house. Might be new for you, but it's not a new house. Chances are, unless you had it built, it's not a new house. This house has been paid for a few times. The taxes go up, right? The person previous to you could have bought the house outright, right? Then you buy the house. The taxes go up because the value must have gone up. Because the price that you paid for the house says that the house is worth more money. So you're going to pay taxes on that new value. Is that really value? My dollar is worth less. Is that really the value? You're not comparing apples to apples. You're comparing back then money to today money, and that's not the same. So you're paying out the wazoo for your house. That's already been paid for. Yeah, there's that. So everybody that keeps buying houses, you keep paying for that same thing. Why isn't it once a house is bought, the government has nothing to do with it? Why am I still paying for certain things? I shouldn't be paying general taxes. I should be paying into the localities coffers for, firemen, police, hospitals, transportation, if that's what I use. Maybe even the educational system. But why am I paying for the educational system if I ain't got no kids? Like, there are a lot of people that are in that situation. So you start realizing. And yes, you're renting from the government. That's exactly it. What's even worse is that's the life that we're moving toward. They're pushing us to lease cars, not buy cars. Lease houses, not buy houses. Your whole world is going to be based on a monthly fee. Your whole life is, they brought it to us before. It was called Rent-A-Center. Go look that up. RAC. Rent-A-Center. That's in the United States. In other countries, it's different. Or it can be different. So that's in the United States that's what's going on. So when I look at, banks doing this, the traditional markets doing that, crypto firms doing this, I'm seeing traditional finance flailing, freaking out, different deals all over the place because they don't know what to do, or they think they're doing the right thing. They think they've nailed it. One of the smartest moves I've seen was Intercontinental Exchange's investment in Polymarket. Because they said, we're not getting out of the business. We're still an exchange. But we put $2 billion into that. That kid became a billionaire, by the way. We put $2 billion into that. That's just a cash machine. That's just a cash machine. You vote, you pay. You vote, you pay. You vote, you pay. You vote, you pay. What? What a business. Wait a minute. Who else has a business like that? Who? Oh. Crypto exchanges. Centralized exchanges have a business like that. Or just crypto exchanges in general have a business like that. You win, you pay. You lose, you pay. You buy, you pay. You sell, you pay. Pay. You might not be paying as much, but you're paying. You're paying your network fee. You're paying, your exchange fee. Everybody's got to eat. Yeah. Stop and think about that. Let that wash over you for a minute, as I say all the time. It means give yourself time to think about it. The reason why I say it is because it gives you time to think about it, take it in, and understand that cursory point. And then when I say really, let it wash over you, that means take a deeper dive into what it actually means, what that disruption could possibly be. For example, like I was saying before, if 401ks can invest in crypto directly now, what does that mean? How does it happen? Who wins, who loses? Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking at. You want to know why people are so much into investing now, trying to learn how to invest? You're going to have to invest just to survive. The writing's on the wall. Saving is not going to be enough. Not nearly enough. Back in the day, it was a halfway decent option. But now it's not. So you kind of sit back and you kind of go, wait a minute. If I was saving, even from 5 years ago, I've lost money. I've lost money. Go look up how much the dollar has declined in the past 1 year. Go look that up. Your jaw will drop. And then ask yourself, how much did I lose if I was just saving? Investing, sprinkle, sprinkle, baby. Investing gives you a higher percentage return over time. When it all evens out, it doesn't even out and go straight across. It evens out because your money went up. The value went up. Saving does not get that for you. A declining dollar at the pace that it's declining does not match the interest rate that you'll get when just mucking around saving a dollar or whatever other fiat you've got mucking around in. Those are facts for the most part. Those are facts. Here's a scary thing. Ramsey Solutions is pushing HISA and denying cryptocurrency still today. I do not subscribe to that guy. I do not subscribe to anyone that is unwilling to listen and learn, who think they know it all. I can't do that. I don't know everything. So because I don't know everything, I try to learn as much as I possibly can. That's how I look at it. Fun fact. I've got a couple of friends, besties for like forever, right? Since kids. And we play the numbers game, right? Cool numbers that we just happen to see randomly throughout the day. You know, angel numbers, palindrome numbers, just cool numbers that could possibly carry some meaning, right? Hutanic, you actually know my phone number. What are the last 4 digits of my phone number? And why are those last 4 digits significant? Don't answer it here, but you'll understand where I'm coming from. So one of my friends that I said that, you know, we do this, we trade, you know, different pictures and stuff like that of numbers. And they said, you know, you're going to keep your mind going if you keep playing that game. Finding numbers that have meaning. Not just the upfront meaning, but like meaning from back in the day, like an obscure meaning to it. And we'll respond with each other with the number to acknowledge that we got the number, or we'll reference the obscurity of the number, right? And the meaning behind it, right? Keeps the mind fresh. I shoot these videos for my kids, and all of you know that. But you want to know something funny? I have long conversations with my mom about crypto, about investing in general. Her mind could possibly be sharper than mine. And I'm pretty sharp. I mean, I'm not the sharpest. Let's not get it twisted. But she is sharp as hell. And she will bring up facts that, oh, so you told me about this the other day. So does that, so if I put that together, yeah, that's my mom. So keeping your nose in the news, doing your own research, knowing your entries and exits, and absolutely investing deliberately. Doing those three things, the GMB 3, helps you in business, can help you in investing, and can help you in life because it's keeping your mind going. It's helping you connect the dots. Even if you're not investing, just understanding concepts, understanding different ideas, stringing the dots together to understand what that picture is keeps your mind sharp so that when the opportunity does arise, you're actually mentally ready. Nuts, right? Yeah, I know I'm crazy. Hutanik, I can't say that out loud. Your last comment. That's why. Hello, Terrell Abbott. All right, I'm going to be frank with you guys. I tend to answer questions when it's tied to a gift. I tend to answer them quickly. But that's actually a good one, and I'll talk about it for a quick second. It's like buying gold. Right? So if I snatch up some PAX G, I can actually go get some gold off of that. So I'll snatch up some PAX G just because I think gold is going to do well. Why do I think gold is going to do well? Well, because I don't think the global economy is going to do well. And all of the reserves out there are buying up freaking gold, especially China. So, yeah, I'm going to buy gold. That's how that goes. But yeah, normally I'm answering questions for people that are dropping little gifts. I hate to say it, but, doing all this costs money because time is money. Money is time. So, yeah, they're greatly appreciated, by the way. But, yeah, so PAX G in that regard, that's what I pay attention to. I don't like his channel. I made one post that got thousands of replies that made me a top fan. Absolutely hilarious. The comment I made was making fun of him. I knew I shouldn't have read that. Where's Patient One? She needs to do me a favor. So, again, when I'm out here doing the news, looking at the news and giving you my comments and everything, it's to show you that, hey, you need to keep up with this stuff. You need to keep up with it. Like Saturdays, I normally don't do anything. I don't do shows normally, but I'm still researching. I'm still trying to connect the dots. There was one time that I actually didn't keep my nose in the news. One day, I got up Sunday and the whole landscape of the market had changed. There was that. And I was like, wow, take a day off from doing research. And damn, look at this. Yeah. Amazeballs. Absolutely amazeballs. So yeah, I pay attention to that stuff. Something silly happened. I was reading it in the news and I was just like, I had to pause because when I read it, it hurt my freaking head. It hurt my freaking head. So this company, beverage company, mind you, this is a beverage company, make drinks. This beverage company decided, we're going to change our name. We're going to legally change our name to a meme coin. Aloha, thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself, A+. We're going to change our name to a meme coin. So they went from Safety Shot Inc. to Bonk Inc. Mind you, before they changed their name, they had already invested and created a treasury for Bonk. Now, with the name change, you know what else they did? They actually said, we're not a beverage company anymore. Nope, not us. We are a crypto treasury. Based on Bonk. Now, before I just rip them apart, let's not do that. Let's look at the business model first, right? We're a beverage company. Whether we make beverages, transport beverages, whatever it is, we're a beverage company, and there's an expense to running that company. Okay? And there are big expenses, right? Payroll, shipping, whatever. There's all those expenses that come along with it. Rick Ritchie, go in the corner, man. I'm so happy. I don't even have a glass of water over here. I would have spit that up just now. Dead serious, dude. That was mean. Got me teary eyed a little bit. But they have a business that comes with expenses to run that business. And they took some of the money that they made from that business and started buying bonk and created that treasury thing. And I'm thinking they probably saw some upside to it. And they said, they sat there and they did the math and they were like, well, we wouldn't have any expenses, but we wouldn't be making money, but we wouldn't have any expenses. And if we make money, then we have money. And then if we have money, we might be able to get a loan on this money. And you see how that works? So let's jettison this business. We might be able to jettison that business, make money. And I'm not saying that this is what happened. I'm saying this is a possibility. I don't know who they are. I haven't invested in their company or anything like that. I'm just saying this is a theory on what could have happened. It's a trail that could have been taken, right? So they sell the business, they make money off the business, they move on from that business, they become a treasury. How much money, how many people does it take to run that treasury? Feel me? One. I don't freaking need anybody to do a treasury. What? Yeah, I can go do that. I'll make noise in the headlines. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll probably make money from selling that business. I won't have any expenses anymore. So some of that money that I made selling that business, what do I do? I have my treasury here. I put more in the treasury and it does its thing. I can go get loans against that treasury while taking a little bit from that sale and putting it in my pocket or in the pocket of a trust or doing something else so that I would be able to borrow against my holdings. So not only do I get rid of the expense of running the business, but I can also go get a loan based off my holdings. And as long as my holdings make money, life is grand, isn't it? Oh yeah, because I don't pay taxes on loans. Now, there are a lot more intricacies to all that good stuff. And Red Star, thank you for letting me know that you invested in yourself today. Now, I can, and I'm not mad about the choices that you made. Rick Ritchie, I'm still mad at you. You're still in the corner because that still has me cracking up. And you're going to catch it on Sunday. Don't forget, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is the Big Baggers private video conference call. If you want to hear some really good banter about investing, everything from, farms to investing in businesses to crypto, we run the gamut. We run the gamut. And we're on a video conference call. It is one of the best things that, I actually started. It's awesome. It's awesome. Anywho, that could be how that deal ran out. So I can be as mad as I want to be because bonk, out of everything, bonk. From a marketing perspective, I don't know if I could be mad about that too much when you stop and think about it, right? You start going, wait a minute. But I'll remember that company. I'll remember Bonk Inc. Huh. That's interesting. What if I get other people to buy into Bonk Inc? And, oh, wait a minute. This could be a good idea. And there you go. So you notice how at the beginning of the call, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe the company did that. And then I gave you an idea about how it could have gone. Now, I'm not saying that's how the transition happened, but that is a more than feasible way. That's a greater than 40% chance that that's how it went. Yeah. Because I don't need a whole bunch of people to run that treasury. I need one. I need one. I get rid of a whole bunch of expenses then. Oof. You kidding me? Just saying. There's some ideas. Aren't treasury and bonds only 5% APY, but it's guaranteed? Depends on whose treasury you're talking about. What are you talking about? We're talking about their treasury account based on bank. They're a treasury firm now. You'd have to do research on it. That's what I mean. I made a few bucks on bank when it first dropped. Yeah, I made a couple of bucks. Not ashamed to say it. I was wacky when I first read that article. I had to sit down and contemplate. What is that? What does that mean? What's that about? Broke it down and was like, oh, okay. Because then you start to realize, oh, I see how that works, how that could go. I see how that could go. My only issue is you've chosen you've chosen a meme that has no real use, a popular meme, but has no real use. How is that going to work out over time? That's a problem that I have. How does that work over time? That's something to contemplate. We also have Bybit securing UAE's first crypto exchange license, planning a 500-person Abu Dhabi hub, because that's probably how they got their license, to position itself as a regional leader in global crypto regulation. Yeah. Bybit's not a small exchange. They're one of the biggest, actually. I think they're a top 5 exchange. Bybit's no joke. Bybit's no joke. So that's a huge move. That's a big deal move. And they're saying, oh no, we're going to have 500 people working here and we got this. And their first step, they're saying, we're going to be compliant. They got that license. We're going to be compliant. We're going to work with you to remain compliant. You want to know why else? The Middle East is huge. Don't forget, the Middle East is a part of Africa. Don't sleep on that fact. One of the reasons that makes that huge is because all of those oil countries are looking for an escape route. Yep. They're looking for an escape route because they know there's only but so much oil in the ground, which makes everybody that's just going for coal or whatever else kind of stupid, right? Because you're going to need that renewable energy. Just putting that out there for you. You're going to need that renewable energy. So how does that work? They know that it's going to come to an end at some point. So they're laying the groundwork. They're laying down the infrastructure for their future. They're playing the long game. Now you know why I get on people all the time. Why I get on businesses. Why I get on governments. Not playing the long game. It seems like the United States and certain other countries are reluctant to play the long game. Small sacrifices now for big reward later, even if I'm not necessarily here to take advantage of that reward. My heirs will be. Long game. Yeah. They were the one that caught. Yep, they were. But a lot of companies caught them. They were the ones that came out and said, "Yeah, this is what happened." They recovered quick. I have a deep respect for projects, exchanges, any kind of crypto firm that gets hacked and comes outright and says, "This is what happened. We did the forensics on this. This is how it happened. We've patched it." And when they're transparent like that, I am more prone to want to work with that project. Those that make it through the storm, right? those that make it through the storm, they now know how to prep. They now know how to kind of see it coming. They're not going to be perfectly well done, but they're going to be more in tune with what needs to happen. Much respect for that. So yeah, I'm going to go for it. I'll be more prone to work with them. They play the game of calling Northeast Africa the Middle East and Southwest Asia. Yeah. Yeah. And all I'm saying is pay attention to what's going on in Africa, the continent. You're talking about a space where they're going to have the most people in the very near future. And they're going to have the most people with knowledge and the means to invest. Better be paying attention to that. When I look at opportunities, I'm looking at where are those opportunities? What can we do? How can we win from that? This is one of them. Are they involved with China's cross-border interbank payment system, SIPS? Who they? Bybit? I don't know. I didn't look that hard. I don't respect Gemini. Sorry. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I can't stand Gemini. Period. I've spoken about it many a time. Cannot. When their staking got messed up with the FTX debacle, they fought for over a year to get people's money back. They fought for over a year to get their money back. They were not as transparent as you think. They weren't nearly as transparent as they needed to be. They pointed the finger. They knew everything that was going on. They pointed a finger anyway because they knew they could get away with it. That's why the deal was cut like that, so that they have no fault. Hey, that's not ours. We're just putting a label on their service. Aha. So yeah, no, nope. You won't catch me. No, not happening. Most presidents this century came from Harvard. What does that even mean? Why does it even matter? I don't understand why that matters. Don't understand why that matters. All right, I'm going to call this a day because I got to call my son. But everybody, it's very interesting. Just one last point. It's going to piss you people off. Who got denied a request to block state regulators from overseeing prediction markets? Coinbase, 12%, 8 votes. Coinbase, 12%. Polymarket, 88%. MetaMask, 0. Other, 0. You're all wrong. It was Crypto.com. It was Crypto.com that got smacked in the face over that. Like, yeah, nah, son. Nope. Not at all. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, smash the likes. Tell your friends about us. And if you can, become a member. Why? Because membership comes with benefits. Membership comes with benefits. If you're a bagger, junior bagger, big bagger, make sure I have your email address because there are benefits that you're probably not paying attention to. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, rest of your evening. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for the Crypto Daily at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And absolutely, thank you for your trust. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.